You work hard, you save what you can, you play by the rules, yet somehow your progress never feels real. Months pass and nothing changes. You look around and wonder, what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth. There's a money mistake that's not in any book, not in any finance video, because it hides in your daily life. It's quiet, it feels logical, but it's the reason you stay stuck exactly where you are. It's not overspending, it's not bad investments. It's something far more dangerous, something that lives in your mind, disguised as discipline. And the worst part, the more responsible you try to be, the stronger it gets. In the next few minutes, you'll see how this one invisible habit silently kills your financial growth and how to break it before it steals another year of your life. You were never taught to build wealth. You were taught to avoid losing it. Since childhood, every lesson about money carried the same invisible rule. Don't take risks, save for safety, be responsible. And you did. You followed every rule, but no one told you that playing it safe is also a gamble. You were trained to see risk as danger, not as opportunity, to believe that staying comfortable was the same as staying secure. But comfort is a slow trap. It doesn't destroy you overnight, it just keeps you exactly where you are. So, when a chance to grow appears, you hesitate. You tell yourself you're being careful, but deep down, you're just afraid to lose, afraid to fail, afraid to move. That's how the invisible mistake begins. It doesn't feel like fear, it feels like logic. The real mistake isn't wasting money, it's wasting motion. You think you're moving forward, saving, planning, waiting for the right moment, but you're not moving, you're circling. That's the trap, the illusion of progress. You convince yourself that reading one more book, watching one more video, or saving a little more will finally make you ready. But readiness never comes, because the real problem isn't outside you, it's inside. It's the belief that you need certainty before you act. And that belief is a lie that has quietly stolen years from people far smarter than you think you are. You call it discipline. You call it patience. But in truth, it's fear wearing a suit. The fear of acting before everything feels safe. And that's what kills your progress, not failure, not lack of skill, but hesitation. It starts early. Before you ever earned a dollar, you absorbed beliefs about money without even knowing it. Maybe you watched your parents fight over bills. Maybe you saw them save every coin, terrified of running out. Or maybe you heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. Those words become rules, and those rules become walls, invisible limits that define what you think is safe. You grow up believing that caution equals wisdom, that comfort equals success. But what if those beliefs were never yours to begin with? You didn't choose fear, you inherited it. And now, every decision you make, every chance you hesitate to take, is filtered through someone else's fear of loss. That's a chain most people never break. They think they're protecting their future, but they're only repeating someone else's past. You tell yourself you're being smart. You say things like, "I'll invest when I have more. I'll start that project when I feel ready. I just need to learn a little more first." It sounds logical, responsible even. But every time you wait for perfect timing, you lose something you'll never get back: momentum. You skip small chances that could compound. You keep money sitting still, afraid it might vanish. You dream big, but act small because deep down you're still protecting yourself from a mistake that hasn't even happened. And that's how people stay broke, not because they're lazy, but because they confuse delay with discipline. Each safe decision feels like progress, but it's not. It's a pause disguised as productivity. And over time, those pauses add up to a lifetime of almosts. The cost of this mistake isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in time, in all the years you spent preparing instead of progressing. Every next month becomes next year. Every hesitation becomes a habit. And before you realize it, you've built a life made of plans instead of results. You start to feel it when you look back and can't point to a single bold move you've made. Just a collection of careful steps that led nowhere. That's the cruel part. You didn't fail. You simply never began. And one day, you'll see someone younger, braver, less prepared than you living the life you wanted. Not because they were smarter, but because they acted while you waited. That's the real cost of safety, the quiet theft of your own potential. Everything changes. The moment you realize this, you'll never feel ready, and that's okay. Progress isn't built on certainty. It's built on movement. The people who grow, who build freedom, who rise above average, they act while they're still scared. They treat fear as a signal to move, not to stop. Because real security doesn't come from control. It comes from confidence, the kind that's built through action, not planning. You don't overcome fear by waiting for it to fade. You overcome it by proving it wrong. Every risk you take with intention becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes a teacher. And every step forward, no matter how small, rewires your mind to trust yourself again. That's how freedom begins, not with the right plan, but with the courage to start walking before the path looks clear. There are only 3 rules you need to escape the cycle. First, act before you feel ready. Waiting for the perfect moment kills more dreams than failure ever could. Start small, but start now. Second, learn faster than you fear. Every mistake is tuition. The faster you fail, reflect, and adjust, the faster you grow. Information means nothing without movement. Third, think long-term, act short-term. Don't chase explosions, build foundations. Make decisions today your future self will thank you for. These 3 principles are simple but not easy, because they demand something most people never master: trust. Trust in your effort, in your learning, in your ability to recover. When you start living by these, you stop playing defense and begin building offense with your life. Something changes when you stop waiting for certainty. Life starts to move differently, faster, sharper, louder. The same decisions that once felt terrifying now feel like freedom. Because you finally understand it was never about the money. It was about who you became while chasing it. You stop seeing money as protection and start seeing it as a tool, a mirror of your growth. Opportunities begin to appear, not because the world changed, but because your perspective did. You no longer ask, "What if I fail?" You ask, "What might happen if I don't?" And that question wakes something ancient inside you, the version of you that isn't scared to lose, because he finally knows what's worth winning. This is the mistake no one warns you about, the silent one that feels safe while it steals your time. Most people will never see it. They'll spend their lives waiting for confidence, waiting for the right time, never realizing that confidence only comes after you move. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop letting fear make your decisions for you. Because the truth is simple. The longer you wait, the smaller your world becomes. But the moment you act, even in doubt, life expands around you. So if this hit you, if you felt that quiet wake-up inside your chest, don't let it fade. Start today, not when you're ready, but because you're done waiting. And if you're ready to grow with intention, subscribe, and let's build your freedom one step at a time.